Smoke your hawk, get out your bib. Solid! Picking a rib. Out to eat to a barbecue and start picking a rib.
And he kept on picking.
Good for them, good for me and you, so let's start picking too. Old King Cole came out of a hole by picking a rib. Picking. Smoked a hog on a red outlaw, called it a barbecue. Say, stomping chicken, we've got a new creation. Say, you better start picking, cause barbecue's taking the nation.
It's time for Pickin' and Flickin' in the Nostril Zone, where we pick a book off my shelf and flick through it.
What else could that mean?
I'm your host, cartoonist Kyle Bridget, and before we flick through today's pick, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, be a ding-dong daddy, and ding that bell. Today we're looking at Wolvertoons, the Art of Basil Wolverton. Now, I picked this book up for $10 quite a while ago, maybe like 15 years ago, and I've brought it to many classes where I've taught, adults, but especially kids. And we've used it to do things like make zines. And I'm sure if we flip through this particular zine that I made with, some teens, like 12-year-olds, we'll probably find, here we go. There's a bunch on this page. Here's some more. Some more here. He's very popular. He never ceases to resonate with kids or adults. And he's really an artist who's gone down in history as the artist who does ugly drawings. I mean, think about it. Who makes an uglier drawing than Basil Wolverton? I'll wait. I won't wait any longer because he's the man. And I have quite a few Wolverton books. This is the original art of Basil Wolverton. This has kind of a variety of stuff, comics, some of the ugly art, also like a lot of like original drawings for the artwork. I've got a bunch of books covering his more sort of silly cartoon characters. I'm particularly partial to Powerhouse Pepper, who's a bit like a Popeye type character. And over here I have Space Hawk, which is a collection of his sci-fi character Space Hawk. He did a whole bunch of different sci-fi and horror comics in the 40s and 50s. I've also got this one here. This is the Wolverton Bible, and this is a collection of illustrations he did for Bibles and Bible magazines for the Christian cult that he was a leader in. And I'm always on the lookout for more Basil Wolverton books. And this one has served me very well. I've brought it to many classes. I've actually kind of had to retire it at this point because it's become so well loved that it probably wouldn't survive that many more classes. So now I just kind of keep it for my own purposes, but it's definitely worth picking up. It's easily the best collection of Basil Wolverton's ugly drawings that I've ever found. Okay, funny enough, there's actually an inscription here for Bubba Alex. On those hungover mornings when you think you look like shit, take a glance in here and feel a hell of a lot better. Heart Fiona OXO. Double exclamation point. I have no idea who either of these people are. This was in the book when I bought it used for $10. And I believe this was printed in, I'm going to say 89. So this is printed in 89, and you definitely want this book, folks. I'm telling you, this is the Basil Wolverton book to have. And I mean, there's not a whole lot to read through in this book. There's a good interview with Wolverton and an introduction by Gahan Wilson. But sort of the main takeaway is that he draws very large. If you ever wondered how he gets all that gross detail in there, that's the answer. He draws it large. See his head he's drawing right here? Let's see if we can find it in this book. Okay, so that head, I don't know which one it is, but it's like he's drawing a head like this, that's printed this size. This is how big he's drawn it. And I've seen him in different interviews talking about how he's always surprised at how shocked people are at the amount of details And he just says, it's no big deal. I draw big. That's how I do it. It's no big deal. But it is a big deal because he is the master of ugly drawings. And like I said, there's not a whole lot to read through here. So we're just going to kind of flick through and let the hideousness wash over us. So starting out, we've got some grunts and grins. Oh, I like these lips here, just like the way they move. There's just such good motion in a Basil Wolverton drawing. Like you can see this neck moving here. You just want to grab this guy like a baseball. I like the way these lips kind of twist around here. It's very visceral. Everything's, just so in a Wolverton drawing. Okay, here we've got some mad models, and there's some great necks here. He does such a good job of just, the way he's got the line weight on the dark line here, and then the hatching is it's kind of coming off the one side. It gives a lot of texture. You feel like you can run your hands over this thing. Such movement with the hair and the way it sort of waves. And this one I really like. It looks like metal filings, like you took one of those planers across some metal and it just kind of curled up. This face is coming right at you. It's just such good motion in a Wolverton drawing. I'm sure I'm going to say that so many times in this. Got some aliens here. These big puffy lips are kind of disturbing to me. Like I feel like there should be some teeth jutting out of here, and it's just so vacant. And then these eyes, the way they're just kind of pinched and pulled in such a way. It's just so good. He's got a lot of drawings of cars and technology. He's a bit like Al Jaffe that way. Okay, here we go. We got some kisses. These are kissers for Misters and Misses. I like the sufferer here. Just kind of squinting. And the leer, here's someone who kind of kisses from above. He's like looking down on you uncomfortably as he kisses you. You got the popper here. That's the sound. Ooh, the expector. She's just looking up, waiting for that kiss. And it kind of looks like the discharger here is coming down to give it to her. Peculiar people. These bumps on the bottom of this foot here, these are very upsetting to me. Wolverton is just a masterclass in texture and form and movement and weight. Everything's just right. Look at these like marshmallow feet. They work perfectly. You can see the way that it's coming down and it's sort of bending just right for the weight of his foot, and the other one's kind of pulling up. He's so good. Lots of weirdos in here. This is something else he draws a lot of, are these weird nude figures, like where he'll draw all the characters, they'll all be nude, kind of like Love Is or Ziggy or something, but they never have any genitals or usually not even a butt. So it's like these weird denuded alien people. Every character in a Basil Wolverton drawing becomes a weird alien. Now we have a brief color section. These are like ugly Valentine's cards that he made. You'd love to get one of these at school on Valentine's Day. And all around the outside of these little weirdos, I think it was a sticker series that he did. And some of these might have become like rubber uglies, those little ugly rubber monsters and aliens and finger puppets. I think some of his designs may have become rubber uglies. If not, some of the series that he worked on were inspired by those. This particular one, just the way that it's colored, the brain falling out of the hole in his head, right? Like it says, I need you, like I need a hole in the head. It looks like poop to me, I know it's supposed to be a brain, but it just looks like he's pooping out of his head into a bucket. It's poop, I'm telling you. This here, I feel, is a sort of reoccurring Wolverton image where someone is, just kind of goonily trying to eat like a sandwich or some food, and it's all just kind of spilling forward. And here she is, Lena the Hyena. So a little backstory on this one. If you know the newspaper comic Lil Abner by Al Cap, he had a character in there called Lena the Hyena. And she was so ugly that whenever she would appear, the panel would be redacted, right? Like that was the gimmick, that it would be, this panel has been censored because she's too ugly to show in the newspaper. And I think in 1946, he held a drawing contest for people to submit their renditions of Lena the Hyena. And the contest was judged by Salvador Dali, Frank Sinatra, and Boris Karloff. And there was a prize, which was like around $500. And it was entered by a bunch of different professional cartoonists. The ones I remember are Carl Barks, who did Uncle Scrooge, and Jack Cole, who did Plastic Man. It was a big deal. This is the drawing that won. It was printed in Life magazine. That's where the contest was held, in Life magazine. And then that was, of course, the inspiration for Harvey Kurtzman to hire Basil Wolverton to do the famous Tales Calculated to Drive You Mad cover, which is probably in here later on. So here it is. This was the ugliest this is the ugliest cartoon that anyone could come up with. So yeah, that really solidified him as the ugly artist. Okay, so then we've got a whole bunch of heads here. These are all caricatures. Who do we got here? Boris Karloff was one of the judges, as I just mentioned. Right here we have W.C. Fields. Ooh, he's got some real alcoholic's nose here. These ones I really like. This is literature and world history, and so he gets to draw some real good facial hair here. And hair is something that no one does like Basil Wolverton. He draws every single strand of hair, and you can follow it and it twists and turns and whatever, but it still manages to form like a solid unit, even though it's all these individual hairs that are wrapping around. Like this mustache here, it's all these twisty hairs. You can see every single one, but it still feels like a nice solid brush, like it's one thing that you could kind of squish. It's incredible. Ooh, I like the way this guy's licking his fork here. Well, this is a really twisted one. Look at him. And he's like a screw or something. This guy's all wrapped around too. Ugh, this guy's head isolated like this makes him look like a slug. It's really uncomfortable to look at, especially these dry, crackly lips. Ugh. He's a nightmare artist, folks. He gives Junji Ito a run for his money. Ugh, look at these teeth, they feel like they're just kind of like bursting out of her face and they're just gonna, snatch you up. Very uncomfortable to look at. Oh, I really like this guy too. I like the way his eyelid kind of sags down and the eyeball pops out of it. It's a nice little touch. Okay, now this one really gets me excited because this highlights the real logic in a Basil Wolverton cartoon. Like you look at this and you see like everything is thought out and makes sense and also guides your eye through the drawing. So it's like you look at this, his arm comes through here, it breaks through the bottom. Okay, where's his other leg? Oh, it's sticking out here. And then you've got the steering wheel, his arm sort of loops through, and in the negative space here you can see a little bit of this board which you can fall all the way down to here. And it has a real logic and it's really well thought out. And I think that kind of believability is important in a Wolverton cartoon. He's an incredible artist. What can I say? We've got a series of more heads here. These are all very sculptural, I feel. They have a real weight to them. Now we've got some greeting cards that he did. I don't know if these would have been in color originally, but they're certainly not presented that way here. I like this one. From one queer duck to another. Oh, here we go. He's getting a little sexy with this one. From one fair lady to another. He's actually got a woman in the bath here. He normally wouldn't get this risque, like he'd draw people nude, but they would be also denuded. This one here. I would shoot myself for forgetting your birthday, but I don't have a core candy. Hope your birthday was happy. My co-idiot Patrick on Potter ZB would love this one. He loves a good suicide joke. Wonder if they could reprint these, if those would sell. This looks like a Geodude for all the Pokemon heads out there. These are really cool. These are like how people will evolve from the kinds of jobs that they do. So this guy's a pianist. And so like his fingers and feet and even his nose have all kind of developed to be curved to play piano. And he's even like evolved his own chair legs coming out of his butt. Here's some more great motion drawings. The way this wheel is rolling over this guy's head and just kind of displacing the skin, and the way it's wrinkling up and the eyeballs are just popping out. This guy's wrapping completely around this pole, which is just kind of bending just right. You know, and his tongue is wrapping around, and his eyes are wrapping around, and even his ear is flopping forward. Man, genius. So much good stuff in here. These this guy's got some good nostrils. He could really go picking and flicking in the nostril zone, if you know what I mean. All right, what do we here? Okay, and here it is. This is the famous Mad Life cover. Influenced tons of artists. It's like you hear so many like underground cartoonists especially name check this specific issue as the thing that sort of got them into comics. And all of these Mad readers here, I'm not sure if these were in that issue or like maybe the next issue. These were reprinted a lot, and I was a Mad reader. This one especially was influential on me. I remember it was reprinted on like a super special cover or something. I really like this little goblin in his pocket eating the bone. I think there's a close-up here in this completely mad. I'll splice in the actual cover, but yeah, this was very influential on me, especially this little guy eating the bone. Really kind of blew my mind. And then this one down here, this is actually from another issue of Tales Calculated to Drive You Mad, and the story was The Face in the Floor. And like the legs here are actually drawn by Jack Davis, but the face is by Basil Wolverton. And that issue, whatever the number is, that is one of my favorite issues of Tales Calculated to Drive You Mad. I'll put it up on the screen. But if I was ranking issues of Tales Calculated to Drive You Mad, like my favorite ones, this one hands down would be in my top 3. Ooh, here's a good one. This lady with her like razor wire stubble in her upper lip and this pimply pockmarked nose. And this one down here with their neck twisted all the way around and her tongue sticking out and just kind of tickling the tip of her nose. Yeah, it's great. I'm pretty sure this Miss Potgold thing was actually one of his Mad articles too. Okay, this is a great one. The manly art. So this is boxing. He's got the type of punch there, and then what you see is the result of the punch. So this one's here straight to the nose, pow. This one right here is an uppercut, pop. You know, okay, where's another good one? Oh, this one's good. Zooey! He's all twisted around. And then here at the end, you can see, oh, yikes. He's seen better days. Now this, I'm fairly positive, was in Mad. I think this was actually like after it was a comic book, when it became a magazine. This is one of the early magazine articles. Like, he doesn't have that many individual Mad magazine credits. I think he only has one more than me. I saw a list where it was like 2 names below him in terms of Mad articles published. But of course, each article's been published like 100 more times than I've ever been in Mad. These hippies here, these are good. The smoking section. This must be some sort of later era Wolverton stuff. You don't really see him doing a lot of hippies and stuff. You know, it's kind of not his era. This is another one from Mad, Mad Hats. I'll go on Mad cover site and find out what all the issues are and splice them in. So thanks, Doug Guilford. Okay, now this guy here, every time I see this page, I just see this bullet guy, and I can imagine him just like flying right into this other guy's open mouth here. Just seems like a perfect fit. So I don't know what happened to this guy's eye, like got clipped off or popped. I don't know. And on the back cover, we've got this really gross alien, really showcasing his textures. I like how the pearl necklace kind of hangs on this weird finger-like Adam's apple protrusion. And yeah, that's Wolvertoons. Well, how do I rate this? It's kind of tough. What do you give it? 4 nostrils? 4.5 nostrils? 5 nostrils? I mean, like I said, it's the best collection of Wolverton's ugly drawings that I've ever found. But, it's kind of a cheap presentation to it. It's just kind of perfect bound. And like I said, my copy is on its last leg. Maybe if it had a nice hardcover like this, a little bit better presentation, maybe a little more color and, nicer quality printings, maybe this could have been a 5 nostril book. But I think, I'm going to have to give it 4.5 nostrils, which is still like an incredibly high rating. But, it's just, you got to have this book. This is like, I haven't seen a better Wolverton book that can beat this in terms of his drawing. So this is the one, baby. And I guess that's all for today. So you can check out the Patreon where you can get these videos and all of my videos a week early, including Canonically Crumb, where I explore the comics and characters of R. Crumb's Crummy-verse as well. You'll be thanked at the end of the show during the credits, which we'll see in a minute. And, if you don't care about that, well, you can just flick off.
Smoke your hog, get out your bin, solid, picking a rib.